Package, brothers and sisters. I am you, you are me. That's how we used to say hi in these lands, in these Mayan lands. In Lakech, Alaken. I am Marisol. I'm gonna call my last names just to give thanks to my family. I am Marisol Povedano Pastrana. With that, I honor all my family that had made me who I am and give me this heart of service. I would love you to feel my heart right now. It's beating so hard. And I'm very thankful that we're here with Repair Nations and Hermana, because what brought us together, Lisa and I, when we met in Cocreamos, it's the cooperative thinking. And one of dreams in Cocreamos, which means we co-create, is once will be a cooperative incubator. So it's not the coincidence. It's not also a coincidence that we are together with Yoli in the same place. We're arm to arm, and it was just a coincidence, but coincidence don't exist. And so I'm gonna say a little bit about Cocreamos, the business and the dream I am holding right now in Playa del Carmen. So as I say, I am Marisol, and I consider myself just a dreamer and a visionary and a future optimist from Quintana Roo, Mexico. I was raised in Playa del Carmen, mostly with a Western mind culture. I lead an urban space, a sanctuary for the good living called Cocreamos. We co-create. The theme I want to share with you today is the eagle, condor, and quetzal prophecy and the proposal from the First Nations of the South to the world, el buen vivir, the good living, sumat causal. I want to highlight I am not a scholar on these themes, but I am passionate and enthusiastic about them. Cocreamos, it's called Sanctuary for the Good Living, for sharing the good living, for sharing el buen vivir, which is the philosophy we're going to talk about. And the prophecy we're going to talk about talks a lot about how we can cooperate, build together, unify our cultures to a greater good for human earth, for the humanity and earth. So I want to tell you a very small fragment from this prophecy from the Queros native people, the wise people from the Andes, that is very similar to the prophecy of the North, the Rainbow Warriors, that many of you, I'm sure you know about. The fragment of the prophecy says, when the eagle of the North flies in unity with the condor of the South, the spirit of the earth will again wake up. To understand this, I want to quickly share with you, for the Inca medicine wheel or cosmovision, the South is represented by the serpent, the transmutation energy. In the West is the jaguar. It represents the principle of life and death. The North is represented by the hummingbird, which means our ancestors. And the East is represented by the condor and the eagle. The eagle represents the masculine energy, and it also represents the high vision, the open vision. The condor represents the female energy. The energy of the eagle helps us see the big picture, is the critical, scientific, and technology, is the linear thought, logic, order, sequence, and analysis, represented by North America, Europe, and all the Western mind countries. The condor represents the feminine, represents protection of the Mother Earth, nutrition, the contention, the welfare of life, the emotion, the intuition, the multidimensionality, parallelism, metaphors, and the holos, represented by the conscience of the First Nations, the native nations of the world. The Quetzal It's added to this prophecy in these last decades by the councils of the First Nations, because the quetzal, the sacred bird of the Mayan lands in Central America, represents the union of the mind and heart, the art and science, the woman and the man. And it's also said that the beginning of this big union of the eagle and condor will take place in Central America. Other elders say it will take place in Mexico. And other elders believe it will exactly take place in Yucatan Peninsula. There are elders that share there is a hieroglyphic in this area, in the Yucatan Peninsula, that talks in drawings about an eagle and a condor. And this is very interesting because in this area, in Yucatan Peninsula, we don't have a condor and we don't have eagles. We have hawks, but we don't have eagles. And so I wonder why you all have the call to come. We all have the call to make unity, right? And here's where we have a big responsibility. And I only say big and not say enormous, extremely huge responsibility for you not to freak out. But we all have a huge responsibility in this union, in using the calling, in attending to the calling, right? We're living amazing, unbelievable times, and it's true. We have to embrace in our hearts that it's true. For a fact, we all know that if we keep perpetuating the same ways that we are used to as Western culture, from our smallest habits, all the way of how we make business, science, economics, and politics, by 2040, we will be not a turn back. We all know that. And it's 2023, less than 20 years from the deadline. We all know it, and I won't generalize. I don't know your situation, but most of us, we're literally chilling. We can all do more. We can all do more. And I include myself in this. I am doing some, but I can do take this more seriously. And I consider myself a future optimistic, as I say. I truly believe in the higher energy. And I know that Creator, Formator has a plan. I truly know that. But I only know He gives us, or she, or it gives us free will. Free will. So it's in our hands, in our choice to make this on the best way or to make it on the most chaotic way. It's in our hands, in our choices to fly high and rise up like the eagle and the condor and fly beautifully as the quetzal in unity. It's in our choice. Do we want to do that? Yes, right?
Yes.
After this insight of this beautiful prophecy of the eagle, condor, and quetzal, I only want to take a few breaths and embrace this information, this unity, these three animal powers, eagle, condor, and quetzal in us. Accept it. And I want to go through the next theme, which is sharing the insights of the buen vivir, the sumat causai, the good life. And this is a prophecy, is a philosophy of a way of living. So I want to share with you a little bit of this beautiful and powerful philosophy. My approach will come from the Inca people of the South that is making a lot of noise in the world right now. And I encourage you all to investigate more about it and try to merge it in your own life with yourself, with the community, and especially on your business, on the business you want to create in any place you are, but especially the ones that you want to bring in Mexico. And also very important to your expectations from business models in Mexico, because most of our business as Mexicans are human family owned. We're not franchises. We are not big corporations. We're humans doing our dream, sharing with everyone. So please expect like that. Expect a human treat, a human agenda, a human family heart, and we're not machines. We are not corporations and franchises. We're doing it from soul and from heart. And so the sumac causai, el buen vivir, the good life, this concept is being exposed to the world strongly by Bolivia and Ecuador and belongs to the whole Inca Empire. And because we once were all one in this continent, these are the principles which all native nations, the First Nations, live their lives and communities. In Quechua language, sumac causai literally is translated as the life in plenitude. This traditional knowledge refers on knowing how to live in harmony and balance, in harmony with Mother Earth, Father Cosmos, the element, with our own spirit, the spirit of all living beings, all life forms. In Mexico, we find different names for it, like Lequitaltic from the Tojolabal people, Lequilcuchtejal from Zetal people, and Yecnemilis from the Masewa people. And also I found that in Africa, it's called Ubuntu in South Africa. Let's take a few dips and breaths to integrate this because we all come from the same. Now I want to share these three stands. Capitalism is capital-centered. The socialism is human-centered. The sumac causai, the good living, is life-centered. So I want to share with you the first three principles of sumac causai, el buen vivir, the good living, and how we can integrate them into our urban lives and how we operate our businesses. So the first I want to share, the first principle is wise eating. This doesn't talk only about quality of food, but the quality of how we nourish in all aspects. Us, our relationships, and how we give back and nourish the earth, the elements, and the cosmos. In business, I consider this is very important, whether we are business in food industry or not. I want to leave you with some quick key questions. The key questions are, is my business nurturing the earth? It is nurturing the society? Is it nurturing the spirit? Am I giving back as much as I'm taking? 2, wise drinking. This principle is connected with the heart. For the First Nations, the act of drinking water is sacred. The water is the milk of our Mother Earth, and all beings that we drink from the same milk, we are brothers and sisters. It is also related to flowing and adapting. Here are some key questions. Is my business and urban life, in my business and urban life, am I taking care of the waters? Do I keep the waters clean? Am I sending the human waste to the water? Am I honoring my coworkers' emotions? Am I being flexible and adapting to the new culture? Or am I trying to impose and bring my culture to a new country? And the third I want to share, and last one for today, because there are 13, is wise dancing. Wise dancing. The dancing is related to the energies of the cosmos and the energies of the seasons, the energies and different astrological and energetical changes. Key question, in my business and urban life, I still defining my agenda by the Gregorian calendar and the seasons imposed from capitalism, the so-called high seasons? How can I create ways to be more in alignment with the four earth seasons and the energies of the cosmos? Perhaps starting to study the Mayan calendar or any native calendar from lands where I am living and apply it to make decisions in my personal and business life. Am I resting enough in winter? Am I preparing for spring and activity? Am I using the cosmic forces at my favor? Next, I will only name the rest of these 13 principles. The fourth is wise living. The fifth is wise working. The sixth is wise thinking. 7, wise loving and be loved. 8, wise listening. 9, wise talking. 10, wise meditating. 11, wise dreaming. 12, wise walking. 13, wise giving and wise receiving. For concluding, I want to leave you with these last reflections. What are my gifts? So just close your eyes, take deep breaths, and ask yourself these key questions. What are my gifts? How can I most serve the land where I live? Have I presented myself to the land and guardians? Have I asked permission to the land and guardians? Am I making my biggest effort to learn the language? Am I studying and investigating the people's history and stories? Am I learning from the ancestral sciences where I live? Am I using my Western mind and skills for good? Thank you, everyone. In Lakech, Alaken.